Oh, oh, Mark, if like farmers win this show, be honest, I probably wouldn't even show up.
Welcome back to Irish Strength, and we are on the build-up to official Strongman Ireland Open Championships, and they're coming up in 2 weeks' time. It's getting really close, and we're privileged to be joined by Dillon Doyle, one of the athletes that's going to be there on the day. So thank you very much for taking the time, Dillon.
Thank you very much for having me, Mark. Thank you.
Now, how's it been going? How are you feeling? The basic question everyone's probably asking you right now.
Being honest, like, look, I'm not going to go off any show I've done in the past or anything like that, because any show I've done in the past, I was my worst enemy. I didn't believe in myself or anything like that. This show, the prep has went kind of very, very well. I won't jinx it, but everything's went to plan. And I believed in myself in training. Usually I train alone. I do a few sessions with the brother, but usually now I just do my own thing, get my own mind frame, and yeah, this prep has went very good now.
Because we've seen it obviously at Ireland's this year. You have some very strong events. Obviously, the overhead is you came joint first with obviously Dean in the axle press.
Yeah.
Well, I imagine the log press, you're going to be fairly comfortable with that one at this comp.
Believe it or not, like in Ireland's there, axle is my worst overhead event, and like I'm not trying to say now that I'm the best log presser in Ireland, but like compared to the rest of the lads in the show, I know for a fact log is going to be a smooth win.
Okay, I like the confidence. I like it. And on the log, will Dean be your biggest competitor there, do you think?
Yeah, on log. See, a lot of lads are saying Jack or someone like that, but there's only so much you can strict. And Dean is very good at pulling out a bag on the day, and if he has to use a split jerk, he can do that with a log. But look, I think the closest log to me will be 170. I think Dean will do that, and then I think I'll just do a smooth 180, take the win. If I have to do more, I can do more, but 180, I shouldn't have to do more than that.
That was actually one of the questions that came in from one of the competitors that unfortunately has had to drop out, Daniel McElroy. He was wondering, will there be a 185 log done at this comp? But I suppose it all depends on whether you have to do it.
Well, I know I am sure of beating Michael Downey's record on the open log. I know I'm very sure of doing that, but I know I'm not going to be pushed to it, and I don't want to say waste energy on log when I don't need to.
How much of that will actually come into it? How much of it will be tactics on the day and you know, being smart about the events?
I think tactics is what's going to win the show. Like, I'll admit there's one fella that is very good at tactics, and that's Matthew McKeegan. He is very good at it. But I think like a lot of lads have a weak overhead, so therefore the likes of one or two of them now can come fifth or sixth, and they've good events to come. But I think in this show, like the events are all good events, like, so I don't know. It's hard to tell.
We'll find out on the day, but it's always good to be confident going into this with your prep, which you obviously are. The other events that are in there, how have they been going?
I'll be honest, like deadlift was always my worst event, like by a mile. Deadlift and grip, but in this show there's no grip. So deadlift, being honest, whether I was deadlifting wrong the whole time, say previously, or what, I don't know. But I'm going without a suit, you see. I'm not using a suit. Everyone else is using a suit. But now, to me, that's a good idea. Now, to the lads, they can get a lot out of the suit, but I just don't like them. I just cannot use the suit. And I've done the comp weight, and I've done a lot more reps than I thought I was going to do. Deadlift, I think, I can't see myself outside the top four anyway.
That's one thing I was going to ask you. So I did make and I don't mean to insult in any way here. I've huge respect for yourself as an athlete. You do seem to shift to either right up at the top or sort of pushing down towards the bottom. You either have a great day, or is it the mentality side of things that can sort of get in the way?
No, see, no, yeah, I saw your video and I respect all the stuff you were saying. But previous shows, like my head wasn't in them. Like whether I was good in a certain event, other events crap, but my head wasn't in them shows. I took a step back and literally sorted all problems and then put everything into training now the last while. And even the difference in just the last 2-3 months is crazy. But this show, I had to be a few lads disappointed.
And you touch on there, and I don't want to delve too personal or anything like that, but when you say things just your head wasn't in it, was it due to training, or was it due to just
No, not due to training, due to just personal issues and stuff like that. I just literally I was going into the gym, being honest, I was going into the gym, starting a training program and doing half of it and walking out. And because I was just like, you know what, I'm done with this. And even though the training would be going well, my head would be somewhere else. But lately now, especially with the last 2 blocks of training, so the last 8 weeks, I haven't missed a number, I haven't missed a rep. I've done 2.5 hour sessions. If I wanted to do longer in the gym, I could. I literally suited everything around me. So I could, like, I put my work schedule around me. So my training was number one. And for my recovery was number one. And yeah, it cost a lot, but you, if you want to be good, you do put things aside and just get it done.
Is that a case for anybody that is out there sort of wanting to be at the top of the sport like yourselves are? Is it a case where it nearly has to overtake your life quite a lot?
It has to. It fully has to. Like, if you go along and, right, I always say this, there's people out there that watch a YouTube video, look at someone training, and then try to live their life and think, oh, I can be an athlete like that. And 3-4 days into it, then they're back doing their old habits, doing their old stuff. I think if you want to be really good at this sport, which I have not proved that I'm good at this sport, but this show I'll prove that I am number one. I want basically for people, literally, just you need to eat right. And like, I don't care if it's cheap food or dear food, eat right, get your sleep, literally get your training in. And if something is interrupting in your training, basically put that aside. And negative people, whether they're family or not, if they're not good for you, good luck, get out. And like, being honest, Laws is my coach, Big Laws, and I owe a lot to that man. That man has literally changed my training drastically.
And how important is it to have somebody like Big Laws as a coach that has basically been through everything and every situation?
Well, when you're picking a coach, I always say to people, like, there's a load of good coaches out there, but when you're picking a coach, I think that should be someone that has done 10 times better than what you've done and basically went through it all. Like, if I said to Laws, look, training felt a bit slack today, my fourth and fifth rep moved a lot slower than I thought they were going to move, he would literally just change that there and then. He changed my food, he changed something, and just, I know then the next 2 days, I go in training, my body will function a bit better. Like, he sees what I don't see, basically. And he's not there to tell you whether, oh, Dillon, you done brilliant there, and to sugarcoat everything. He's there, if I done shit, you done shit. If you done good, yeah, that's a positive note.
I think that is the best coaches, where they tell you how it is. There's no point in telling you,
No,
well,
no.
you're brilliant. Just keep doing what you're doing, because
Yeah,
that's not helping.
no, you'll never go anywhere if they're going to tell you that. And if, like, the good thing about, say, Laws and a couple of other coaches, like, they're not in it for the money. They're in it to see lads get better. And, like, that's when you know you have a good coach.
And so going back to early days, what actually got you into doing strongman?
Being honest, no, I say this because it's literally the truth. And, what got me into strongman is 13, 14, say, what age was I? 15, 16. My sister was killed in a car accident. And being honest, my go-to was just a gym, going in, getting your anger out, all that sort of stuff. Now, I didn't go into strongman till, say, mid-20s. And well, I went into one or two shows when I was 20, 21, and I walked away from the sport then for about 3 years. And I was like, right, now being honest, that was the best thing I ever done because I wasn't in it. But I use that as a motivation, literally. If I'm feeling, say, angry, like, I don't like to use the word depressed because I just don't use that. But acting like that, just go into the gym, lift heavy weights, like pull a PB, pull something like that. And basically, in my head, I'm doing it for a certain person. And obviously, not going to stop till I actually get the job done.
So do you really find that the training and especially this sort of training is a coping mechanism for the bad times that you have had in your life?
Yeah, I definitely do. Like, and a lot of the boys that are competing can relate to this. Like, well, whether they're losing a loved one or anything like that, I don't know. But say when you're lifting something really heavy where it feels like you're going to pass out, you stand up with that and you're like, right, will I go one more or I could possibly pass out? Just go for it. And just that feeling of basically being at the limit and then being yourself again, there's no better feeling than that. Literally, that is the best feeling.
As long as you don't pass out, that can
Yeah,
go the other way. And for you, what is the long-term target? What is there a specific goal that you have set for yourself?
Yeah, my goal was, and I've this goal wrote down for the last 2, 3 years. Like my goal is like to make it to Giants Live, make it to not only Britain's, like do Britain's, Europe's, and hopefully 3, 4 years down the line, hopefully just make it to Worlds. Like I don't care if I ever won Worlds. If I just made it there, I'm happy. But I want to make it to the big shows, but I also want to I want to be with a challenge to set a new log record. And like in the last year, I've gained nearly 30 kilo. And next year, by this time next year, I plan on being another 15 kilo heavier than what I am and just bring a bigger package. And just like I find as the weight goes up and my strength goes up.
Speaking about the weight there, what weight are you currently sitting at?
I'm currently sitting at 131 kilo. And like you were at the records, the record breakers there. Was that last year that I done the under 105 log record?
Yes.
Yeah, and that was October last year. And October now, and I'm 131 kilo.
And you would be hoping to, obviously, by what you said there, 150 is the sort of body weight you would see yourself getting to.
Yeah, I believe like that I can get myself to 145 kilo, 150 kilo.
Obviously, with the goals that you have in place, and you've obviously had them for quite a while, how exciting is it now to actually see the route to possibly achieving those goals by having these Giants Live qualifiers?
Oh, it's crazy. Like, look, I've nothing again other federations, like thanks to them as well. But like when I seen like that Giants Live show was coming back to Ireland, like that's a game changer there. Like the only route that the Irish athletes have had is the likes of OSG and all. But like OSG and all is so expensive to get to there, like. And like now that we have a show that's in Ireland and we know that it's only one spot qualifies, but I know for a fact all the Irish athletes that are going to be at this show are bringing their A game. And now I know they'll be good, they'll all be brilliant, but in every other show, they would wipe the floor with me. In this show, I'd wipe the floor with every single one of them.
And I do love the confidence. I really do. You have to have it. Is it because of the particular events that you think, right, in other shows possibly I'd have problems, but these events just really suit me?
Oh, Mark, if like farmers win this show, be honest, I probably wouldn't even show up. But like the events are max log. I know for a fact I'm the best at that. Deadlift, the boys are brilliant deadlifters, but I know I can mix it up with them. So I will lose a few points, but not too many. Super yoke, I believe it'd be me or Dean to take the win. Loading, I have put a lot of work into loading, and I'm nice and wide now. The likes Jack Harkin and Killian Groom. The big sandbags are not going to be an issue. And then stones, like if I post a video, I post what I want people to see. I will not post what like my best things. And being honest, the events couldn't be better for me. Like, if I don't win this show, I'm not going to win any other show.
God, you're putting pressure on yourself now. Another question that came in from Michelle Pelkington, and she wanted me to ask all of the athletes this, is if you were going to do another sport, what would it be? Or what sports have you done before that you probably would have kept up?
Boxing. I used to be a boxer, and being honest, keeping the weight down was the issue for that. And then keeping to a strict diet, and that was what I would have probably loved to have stayed at. But like strongman, you could just eat everything, lift heavy, get big, and not worry about anything else. But if it wasn't strongman, it'd be boxing.
It is a pretty good sport where you go, what's your diet? And you're like, what are you talking about? Give me some donuts and pizza. I'll get the calories in. The fact that you have a family member, obviously your brother, that is doing the sport as well.
Yeah.
I know a lot of athletes that get into the sport because in Ireland it's a little bit of a niche sport still. They struggle because they tend to be training on their own, or they don't have anybody with the knowledge or the support to really motivate them. Do you play that part for Dean, and does he play that part for you?
See, me and Dean, like, we're the best brothers, but like we've been in competition with each other our whole lives, and like, we train together and we're each other's biggest supporter. But as soon as we get out into that, like onto that field and we're battling against each other, like, yeah, I want him to win, he wants me to win, but I also want to make him look like shit, and he wants to make me look like shit. But it's different. If I was lacking on something like, say, a deadlift or something like that, Dean can always say to me, "Well, look, why don't you try what I'm doing?" And it'll either work or it won't. But at least we're there to get each other better. We're not there to go, "Oh, I'm better than you, you're better than me." Like the one thing I will say and I will say this about the athletes, like not specific athletes or anything like that, but like around the world, most athletes have a lot of respect for each other. In Ireland, that's slacked down an awful lot. And like I have respect for every single athlete, like whether they're in the 90 kilo class, the 105 kilo class, like 120 class that's coming now. Like the way I look at it is they are doing what I'm doing. They're getting up every day, sore, going into the gym, training hard, having to eat amount of food that you literally just want to get sick. And like this sport costs a lot. So when I'm out in the field with someone like that and I'm looking at them, like I have the utmost respect for them. Whether they like me or don't like me, I have a lot of respect for them. But I think in Ireland, the respect level needs to come up a lot. Lads need to be there for each other. Like even the likes of Killian there reached out to people to train, and I think one person showed up, which like that's not great. In England, there you see the boys training together, traveling to train together. Like that's the way it should be.
That was going to be my next question. With the sport in Ireland, and I like to keep these interviews a little bit light, but I'm going to deviate away from that. It feels sometimes like it can be a little bit fractured or a little bit tense between
Yeah.
some of the athletes. Do you find, I feel like you sort of keep yourself away from that side of things, but do you see that and do you feel that in the group of athletes?
I see it in the group of athletes, especially on the 90 kilo lads. They think they are up here somewhere. And fair play to them, the stuff they can do is absolutely amazing. But like they need to come back down and know that, like, look, that's your class. Like, you're not the big boy class. You stay in that class, do your own thing, and all the big lads have all the respect for you. The same vice versa. There's a certain few lads in the big class that look down on the under 90s, and some of the under 90 lads literally would make some of the big lads look crap. But I just think lads need to look at the bigger picture and look at that we're all trying to get to the same thing, whether it's category based or say a level based, say Giants Live, Worlds. We're all there to get to the same thing. If someone is going to beat me, I'm going to just say fair play. He obviously worked harder than me. Like, I've never begrudged someone for winning the show. And it's the one thing, if I've seen someone win, yeah, I'm going to be good that I didn't win. But I'll be the first person up, shake their hand, go, fair play, lads, you deserve it. Like the year Sean Diver won Ireland's, the man was on fire. He was absolutely untouchable. Killian won it this year, he was untouchable. Like, but I was one of the first person up to Sean Diver, and the same up to Killian. And even this year, like, I like the respect now between Diver and Killian towards each other. That's something, no, that's the way it should be. Like, Killian won and took what was Sean's basically. And Sean, I'm using the boys' names, and I know they won't mind, but Sean was the first person up to hug him, say, well done, Killian, delighted for him, genuinely delighted for him. That's the way this sport should be.
Because obviously we're still a growing sport in this country, it needs to all grow together. The more little fractures going off and taking care of themselves, it nearly doesn't help the sport. It damages the sport. I think one of the reasons why we've got to the stage where Giants Live are coming in, and obviously OSG are taking with the weight categories, that's coming in as well. I think we've only got to that point because people are working together and supporting each other, and these big promoters are actually starting to see that.
Yeah, like the way promoters look at it is they want, like, now to do like lads having the banter and basically taking the piss out of each other or having a bit of a battle, but to know that when they go backstage, like, they're best friends again or whatever. But promoters look for people like that, get along, they're there screaming each other on the sideline. And if someone, say it was a max deadlift event or whatever, and someone pulled the biggest number, like, every other athlete there is like screaming them on. Like, it's strongman, it's not weak men. It's literally, it's the name of the sport. Show what it means. Like,
yeah, even at any of the biggest shows, every now and then somebody comes along and you see that they're not integrating the same way, and they just don't want to integrate with the group, and
no,
they don't tend to last that long within the sport.
no, like, if you see an arrogant strongman coming through there, like I always use Robert Oberst, for example. Like, Robert Oberst got invited to very few Giants Live shows for the simple reason he came across as too arrogant, but then behind it all, he actually wasn't a bad person. But in the shows, like, yeah, there was a bit of banter with him and Eddie, but he kind of, people get sick of that as well. Certain people take it too far, and like, no one wants someone that's a dickhead competing at a show, because the crowd, for starters, are not going to buy tickets to see him. And if they don't have fans, there's no really reason for them to be there.
Getting away from that side of things, looking at the possibility of obviously getting to a Giants Live show in Britain, what would that mean to you to walk out into the stadium with the name on the back of the shirt doing a Giants Live show?
Honestly, it would literally, I know a lot of people say this, but it would literally be a dream come true to just walk out at a Giants Live show with my name mentioned, my name on my t-shirt, represent my family, and literally just represent Ireland mainly. And just the experience of being there, it can only make you a 10 times better athlete. Like.
The lineup for this show coming up now in time is obviously the best in Ireland. We've got obviously the numbers are still a little bit mixed because there's a couple of guys we're not particularly sure whether they might turn up on the day. And just out of interest, what is your opinion on that? There's obviously Sean is there and he has said no, but I think we're all just keeping an eye on his training.
I think Diver should put on his big boy pants now and show up to the show.
I think a few people have said that to him now at this stage. I think I've said it to him as well.
I know Pa is probably more than likely not doing it for the simple reason he's too much to lose if he loses. But, like, I don't know. If Pa was there, Sean was there, obviously Daniel is an absolutely amazing athlete and a really nice fella. If I think them three were there with the rest of the field, that is the best show that's ever been held in Ireland. But Pa obviously won't show up as normal.
It is one of those things that, and I don't want to talk too much about another athlete, but it is one of those things, and I think we saw it with Mark Felix recently, where he comes back into a smaller competition, and it can be a little bit of a risk. But I think people do actually respect people for taking a chance.
See, I think like the events are very, very good for Pa. So I know he'd be taking a risk coming in, but like realistically, like, and I'd say this, I'd hold my hands up and say, Pa is the best athlete to ever come out of Ireland, and he's done so much more than anyone else has done. But it'd be just so nice to bait him on home soil.
Out of the rest of the field, is there anybody in there that you're looking at going, well, that person, they're the real challenge for me? That's the one that I'd be worried about.
There's two. The brother and Matthew McKeegan. You can never count McKeegan out of anything. And when Dean is on form, like in Ireland's there, Dean's worst event is Farmers, and Dean still nearly bet Diver, and it came down to the sandbags. And being honest, I think Dean on form, which this show he's looking on form. For me, it's to beat Dean. I just know, but I am confident in this show, and I will be very happy looking left and right at second and third place when I'm on that podium. So it's grand.
I know you're not. You have the banter and everything else, but you're not. You would never like to put anybody down. But the two names that a lot of people are banding around, that funnily enough that you don't have in there, are Killian and Jack. Do you see it as that these events won't suit them as well as some other competitions?
I love Killian, love Jack, but two snails when it comes to Super Yoke, and Killian when it comes to log, he's not very good. Even stabilizing over his head, he's not very good. But these events are just not, they're not their events. And like any other show, being honest, I think Killian and Jack could beat me, no problem. But this show, I said this from the start when I seen the lineup. For starters, I was never worried about Jack. And Killian, from watching his training, I'm not worried about Killian.
Injury-wise, how are you feeling? Have you managed to avoid any injuries?
Oh, God. Touch woods. I'm touching wood now. I haven't had none.
Very good. Okay, that's always good to hear. And in your prep coming up, so say for instance on the day of the competition, you're obviously going to come up the day before, I imagine, or
yeah. Oh yeah.
Yeah. What is your preparation on the day before and the morning of?
I won't change anything. Like I do event training of a Saturday anyway, so I'll eat the exact same thing that I eat Friday, which every Friday for me is literally the same food I have, which is done from a nutritionist. I have that every day, and I just run the same food, the same amount of water, salt, everything, and just literally treat this show as a training day. Every other show, I have went off and got takeaway the night before, drank Lucozade, all this sort of stuff. That don't work. Does nothing for you. So this time I'll just treat it as a training day and literally just do the prep that way. I eat during training, so it'll be the same thing in the comp.
And if anybody does want to follow along with your training and how your career is actually going, is Instagram the best place for them to follow along with?
Yeah, Instagram is definitely the best place. And my Instagram and Facebook are linked up together, and I do all my clients on that. And if people want to follow along on my training, just hit me up on that. I always text back. Like, I'll never ever leave a message on scene or anything like that.
And what's your tag on Instagram?
Dillon Dynamite Doyle.
Perfect. And we'll put that in the description below. So if anybody is watching and wants to follow along with Dillon, click on over and give him a follow.
And
sorry,
one thing before we finish up, Ratton, on behalf of all the athletes, because I know they all would say it as well, like yourself, Mark, like you've made a big difference in this sport in Ireland. And if it wasn't for you, there'd be no live streams in Ireland. There'd be no lads able to find out how sports are going on, competitions are going on, because travelling and all that. But you're there keeping them all updated. So on behalf of all the strongmen in Ireland, thank you very much.
Yeah, I don't like when this is turned around on me.
I know.
I'm not used to this. One final one for you, because I know you guys have a sponsor that sponsors you going to the shows. Could you tell us who the actual sponsor is and give them a shout out, I suppose?
Our Dean's sponsors now, Farrell Fitness in New Ross, and mine is Little Dragon Supplements. They're based in Enniscorthy, and Face the Fear.
Perfect. And I'm guessing they all have websites.
Oh yeah, they all have websites. They're all on Instagram, and it's literally Face the Fear for Face the Fear, and Little Dragon Supplements for them. So Farrell Fitness is the exact same.
Perfect. And again, I'll throw them in the description below. Just head on over for anybody that is looking for supplements and have a look over on that. But thank you very much for joining me, Dillon. Really appreciate you taking the time. I know it's a busy time for you, but thank you so much. And I will see you in a couple of weeks.
Thanks very much, Mark. I'll see you up there.